On this episode of Hanger Time, legendary customer Jared Kirby walks us through the setup with his JP Electric Retracts and his Seagull models 81-inch P47.
Hey guys, this is the setup of the inner and outer gear doors on the Seagull models 50 to 60 cc P47 Thunderbolt. I know some guys are having a hard time with this, so this is how I did it. Bear with me on the video. I'm going to try to make it as simple as I can. My plane, I just kind of put it together temporarily. I'm not really flying a whole lot right now. It's got cold. This is a quick tutorial. Hope it makes sense for you guys. So anybody that's got this plane, that I bought the JP Retracts and the plane both from Legend Hobby, and these are the gear that are made for it, that are recommended by Seagull. So they come with the red JP controller, and the problem with that JP controller that I run into is I think it has the capability to do some sequencing on it. I was not able to do that through that, so I ended up bypassing that sequencer built into the JP and just ended up using my receiver. Now, I don't know what radio system you guys use, or Futaba or Spectrum or what. I have a NX10, and I have a built-in sequencer inside my radio. So this is how I set it up, and I'll show you, and hopefully it'll help some of you guys out a little bit. So you can see I got everything is set up, everything's plugged in. I got the JP controller mounted inside the fuse. You can mount it where you want and just go ahead and plug your Retracts in normally, just like you normally would. As far as the gear doors, this is where it can get a little bit tricky, I guess. So they have gear doors. You can see the push rod right there on each side. Those you can put on a Y harness, which is what I did, and I assigned them on my radio to channel 9 on my Spectrum radio. So let me give you a quick demo and show you how this works real quick, and then I'll go into my radio settings and show you how I set it up. So here we go. Tail wheel's also included. So my tail wheel is wide into the lead off of the JP controller that would go to the receiver. So I've got a Y harness off of that the rear retract goes to, and it is tied into that JP controller, which goes into my my receiver. And I'm running a Spectrum 10 channel power safe receiver in here. So that's I don't know if you guys are familiar with that receiver, but anyway, this is how it's set up. So this is how mine is set up right now. So right now my gear down. So my gear goes up, tail wheel goes up, mains go up, inner gear doors close. Now I do have some humming on there. I have tried every way I can to get the humming to go away. They're just not going to. Those are digital servos, so I think they'll be all right. Hopefully they will hold up. If not, I'll have to play around with them some more. But as you can see, that's how those are. And I'll drop them again. Inner gear doors come out first. Tail wheel comes out. Then the mains come down. So, all right, the first thing that I did was I counted down how long it took for these mains to cycle, going up and going down. I can't remember. I set this up back in the summer, and I want to say it was about 10, 11, 12 seconds, somewhere around in there. So with that in mind, I needed to make sure that whenever I set this up, that whenever the gear come up, the inner gear doors wouldn't close before the gear ended up closing all the way, or fully retracting. So inside the Spectrum, the older versions of Spectrum, I don't know I don't know if they have built-in sequencers or not. I never did use it. This is the first time I've ever used the sequencing function. I actually found this on YouTube in a Horizon video. It actually showed you how to set up the sequencer. So if you guys want to reach out to me or Thomas at Legend, I'm going to let him have a copy of this video, and hopefully he can get out there to some of you guys. But there is a video that Horizon put out about how to set up a sequencer. It's good, but yet it's still kind of confusing. So I'm going to go through on mine and show you how I did it. So, all right, so this is my Thunderbolt here. So I'm going to go down here and go, let me find it here. There it is, sequencer. I went past it. Bear with me, guys. I'm doing this on an iPhone. All right, there's a few different names that you have under here, and what switch you want to assign it to. So I want all this to work on my channel A, or excuse me, my A switch, which is right there. That's my gear switch. That's what I use on all my planes. So when the switch is down, gear's down. The switch is up, gear's up. So that's called door cycle and wheels. Now I think you can name this anything you want. So I'm going to use the rollie, go into it here. Now, your switch. This is your forward and your reverse here, okay? So if you look down there at the bottom, right here, where you got A, B, A, and B, okay? A is the doors, which is the gear doors. B is the wheels. Channel A is aux 4, which is the door cycle that is tied into, those are plugged in. Aux 4 on my receiver is receiver port 9 on my receiver. And then B is the gear. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, right here, bear with me here. I'm not the best at videoing, but so go over here to your speed for your forward motion. 12, that's what I thought it was, about 12. Okay, the forward is about as long as it takes for the gear to come all the way up and fully retract. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'll repeat that. So forward, which means once the gear doors open and the gear comes down and then the gear goes back up, how long do I need to allow the gear coming up before the inner gear doors close, if that makes sense? So my case is 12 seconds. So I need 12 seconds to get the gear fully up before the gear doors close. The reverse is 4 seconds. So what that means is once the gear door are up and fully up, or excuse me, once I hit the gear to come down, the gear doors flop open. I want to allow 4 seconds in there before the gear start to come down. That's, if that makes sense. I tried to, you can pick a different speed, but you want to make sure you give those gear door time to get down before your retracts come out. So on that, I give it 4 seconds. Now, let's go down here to next. This is where it can get a little bit complicated. So, on your sequencer built into the Spectrum, in here, if I can get my camera to adjust here, there we go. In here under door, okay? This is what the first one you called. So basically, how long do I need for the gear to go up and down? So I'm going to cycle the gear and hold the camera on this so you guys can see how this is working.
Gear up.
Then the tail wheel comes down, then the mains come down. Right there is the 12 seconds. And then there's the gear door goes back up. Okay, now we're going to do opposite. I'm going to go down. Gear door comes down. 4 seconds. Tail wheel comes down. Then the mains come down. So let me show you this again here. All right. gear are down, as you can see. And sorry guys, I know this is not focusing. I wish it was. Everybody talks about how good iPhones are, but they really kind of suck sometimes, I think. But again, I'm going to show you. I'm going to hit the switch. I'm trying to get this into the same place so you guys can actually see. All right. Go hit the switch on the radio, and you'll just kind of have to watch over here to the side to see. All right, so gear are down. Gear's coming up. Gear up. Gear comes up. Tail wheel retracts. One. Go through the 12 seconds. Once the 12 seconds hit, gear come up, which you can see that line right there at the top, which right there it says door. All right, now we're going to reverse it back, or excuse me, we're going to bring them back down. So now we're going to hit gear door come down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tail wheel comes down just because it's wide in. Mains come down. So that's how I set up the sequencing part for my inner gear doors. Hopefully this helps you, some of you guys. This right here is where you can set your endpoints like endpoint 1, I'm at 25%. Endpoint 2, I'm at 50%. Endpoint 3, 75%. Endpoint 4, 100%. And that just basically what that is your 4 endpoints. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what that is. And so you need basically at input 3, you're at 75% when your door starts to come up. Or excuse me, when your door starts to come up, because by then you've already hit your 12 seconds. And your door and your wheels, both you want to keep it 100%, because that is what allows you to get your maximum throw out of that. So you don't change those. So basically you add all those up and you get 100%. Your time with the wheel at 0 is 5%. Okay, so that's the little bit of time that it takes for the gear, for the tail wheel to come down. You have to account for the tail wheel on all this. So even though you got it wide, but usually it's not really hard, but you just want to make sure that you have time for the tail wheel to get down as well inside this sequence. So whenever you hit your retract, the tail wheel will come down, and then you got that at 5, then at 1%, or excuse me, the number at 0.1, you can see right there, you're at 25% of your time. 0.2, you're at 50% of your time, and the percentage of time here is that 12 seconds. So, and this is all customizable. A lot of this is just preloaded in here. But yeah, hopefully guys, this helps you a little bit. Feel free also to if you just want to copy exactly what mine says here, you're more than welcome to. So I'm going to leave it on this so you can see. I'm not going to lie, this took me a long time to get set up and working, and the Horizon video probably explains the sequencing a little bit better than I did. I had to watch it a bunch and go through it step by step in order to figure out exactly how they were doing it, because what you do, and let me go back, and one of the Horizon guys made this perfect. So you basically in here, you're accounting for the doors going this way and the doors coming back this way is what it boils down to. So you can see I'm going to hit my gear down to watch. So my gear's going up. Tail wheel comes down. 12 seconds, which doesn't really matter. Then the gear comes up. Excuse me, the gear doors come up. All right. So once your gear doors are up, so that's a total of 12 seconds. And notice my 0.0 and the time is 0 at the final end. Now, everything is just backwards. So you go backwards, gear doors come down, tail wheel drops, mains come down. So you're basically only really adjusting this for the gear doors. You basically you're adjusting the gear doors to work around the retracts. So you're not actually adjusting for the whole retract everything. Only thing you specify for the actual retracts themselves are the time that it takes to go up and down. So anyway, I hope this helped some. I hope it didn't confuse and made sense. Feel free to reach out and send me any questions that you may have. I'll be glad to help any way I can. And again, here's my settings. So just let me know, and we will try to, or I will try to answer anything I can. And thanks for watching.